What's up, guys? What's going on? I'm Paul, the Pauline Theology's Daily Devotional, man. We are going through the book of Exodus. We're in Exodus chapter 8, verse 25. Oh, I'm sorry, 24. Exodus 8, verse 24. And this is Pauline Theology's Daily Devotional with Trust in Jesus Ministries. We want to help you trust in Jesus more every day. We want to help you to know Him, love Him, and love Him and follow Him, man. If you're looking to do that, even just to looking to just know more about who Jesus is, like what's all this Christian stuff about, man, then you're in the right place, and I'm glad you're here. So we ask a couple of questions here as we go through the scriptures. When we study it, we ask 4 questions. What's actually going on in the scripture? Then we ask, what does the scripture say about God? Then we say, what does the scripture say about mankind? And then we ask, how can we apply these truths to our lives? And so we're going to get into that. But before we do, go ahead and stop the tape. If you haven't read it yet, see what it has to say, come back, and we're going to answer some questions. And those are the questions that we're going to answer. So if you have read it, man, let's jump on into it, man. What's going on in the scriptures, man? What's happening in verse 24? Well, Pharaoh has a reply to Moses. As Moses denied the appeal of Pharaoh to allow him to worship God in the country, but rebuts and says, man, we got to do what God says. We got to go out in the wilderness. Well, Pharaoh concedes. He's like, go ahead and go. He's like, just don't go too far. But the thing about Pharaoh and the words that he says is in Hebrew, there's like a way that you make something more emphatic, because we've talked about this in a couple of episodes about the Hebrew language and the Greek language. And whenever you add the pronoun, like in English, you always have to say, I walk to the store. But in the Greek and Hebrew language, you could just say walk to the store, and it is understood that there is what the pronoun is. I, he, she, them, they, whatever it is. But when you add the pronoun, that means you're emphatically saying, and so what is shocking, I guess, not really shocking, because Pharaoh is who he says he is. He says he's not who he is, who he says he is. That's the wrong way to put it. But Pharaoh thinks that he is the Almighty, and so when he says that he's going to allow them to go out into the wilderness to worship, he says, I will let you go out to the wilderness. He makes emphatic the statement that it is him who is allowing this to occur. So we see the humility of Pharaoh, right? All of these things that are occurring that has caused Pharaoh to want to allow the people to actually worship, and then not only worship in the country, but now let them worship actually outside of the country. He says, you can go out into the wilderness 3 days. I'll let that happen. He says, I surely will allow this to happen. It is I who is doing this. So Pharaoh is still showing pride. But what is so shocking about this, when I said it was shocking, is that right after that, he says, don't go too far. He says, but pray for me, brother. Because he wants these things that the true God, Yahweh, is causing to occur to stop. He don't want them gnats. He don't want them flies, man. He don't want all them mosquitoes. He don't want all that stuff engrossed in his living space. About the other people, I don't know so sure if he cares about them so much. But he does say, pray for my people. So, when this happens, he asks God to entreat him, or he asks Moses to entreat the Lord, Yahweh, about his situation. Yet at the same time saying he is the one that is causing this to happen. He is the one that is allowing them to be freed from, or able to go and worship God outside of the country. Man, that's pride, right? That's pride. He knows he's beat, but still says that he is the one in charge. Man. So what does it say about God? It says that God's in charge. God is in charge. Regardless of what we feel, we see, we think, God is in control. He's sovereign. He's the king. He is sitting on the throne at all times, man. There's no defeating the undefeated one. None. God's in charge. He causes things to occur that otherwise would be impossible. That's who Yahweh is. What does it say about man? Is even when we are defeated, we seek to relinquish control. We lie to ourselves, man. We're good at that. Saying that we have everything ready when we have nothing prepared at all. That's the plight of our lives, man. That is who we are. And then how do we apply these truths to our lives? That's the question, man. I think recognizing the sovereignty of God, His control, and then understanding the need for humility. Because we're prideful creatures. Prideful creatures. Man. Thinking that we control the situation when we don't. Is we need to relinquish control. What are you holding on to right now? What are you grabbing on so tightly that you feel you're the only one that can control or handle the situation? You see, because what Pharaoh is doing is thinking that he can handle the situation. Even though he goes to God, he thinks he can handle the situation because he's saying because he is doing this, then God must do that. Where are we at? Where are we at with that? Where are we at with thinking that because we will do something, that God is required to do something on our behalf? Where are we holding on to a situation where we think that we have utter control when everything around us we can actually see is just being destroyed or overtaken or ruined? Where are you at with that? Let it go. Give up the grip. Allow God to take control. And see what happens, man. Test Him. Try Him. See that the Lord is good, man. Taste Him. See. There's nothing sweeter when you walk in His righteousness in this way. Yeah, I appreciate you guys for listening. And don't be like Pharaoh. I'll see you in the next episode.